Deepak says this is one of the 7 spiritual laws of success. And so if we are wanting to experience greater success in our lives and wanting to do that from within our spiritual practice, then what does this law of karma mean? Swami Vivekananda, who was an Indian philosopher, he introduced a lot of the Indian philosophies to the West, wrote, "Karma is the eternal assertion of human freedom. Our thoughts, our words, and deeds are the threads of the net which we throw around ourselves." So pause for just a moment and reflect, if you will, on the predominance of your thoughts, your words, your actions. If you were to give them a color, if you were to give them a feeling, what would that be? Would it be bright and beautiful and lovely? Would it be dark and restrictive and constrictive and fearful? Vivekananda said, these are the threads, our thoughts, our words, and our deeds are the threads of the net we throw around ourselves. And so is that a net that we are throwing around ourselves that is like a beautiful garment that we would be proud and delighted to wear throughout our life journey? Or is it something else? Either way, it is the principle of karma at work in it. Chopra says this, karma is both action and consequence, because every action generates a force of energy that returns to us in like kind. There's nothing unfamiliar about the law of karma. Everyone has heard the expression, what you sow is what you reap. Obviously, if we want to create happiness in our lives, we must learn to sow the seeds of happiness. Therefore, karma implies the action of conscious choice-making. You see, we are effectively, essentially, infinite choice makers. We could say it another way. We could say that our life is really a reflection of the choices that we have made up to this moment in time. We always have a choice. Can you think back to a recent time where you felt as if you didn't have a choice? I'm not going to ask you to share it, but think about it. Where you thought you didn't have a choice. I'm going to challenge you to think deeper and to look for the choice that you did have, even if you didn't make that choice. The reality is we always have a choice. It does not mean that we are always exercising that choice consciously, nor does it mean that we are always exercising that choice wisely. But we live in a field of infinite potential as infinite choice makers. He writes, we have become bundles of conditioned reflexes that are constantly being triggered by people and circumstances into predictable outcomes of behavior. Chopra also teaches that one of the ways we can really get in touch with this idea of spontaneous right action, of doing the right thing, the noble thing, the good thing, the high thing, in the right way at the right time, is by paying really close attention to how our thoughts or actions feel in the body. And that if we will really tune in and notice, tune in and pay attention, we will begin to see those actions that come from the highest within us as contrasted with those actions that seem to come from the lowest. We can simply look at what consistently shows up in our lives to have a real good understanding of what it is we are sowing in order for that to consistently show up in our lives and remain in our lives.